Hey y'all, Marie Cecile Anderson here. I love Nashville, and I have never felt more connected to this city than when I watched our community rally around local food banks after SNAP benefits were frozen this fall. People showed up, and that feeling of real connection is exactly why we created the CityCast Nashville Neighbors program. As a neighbor, you're going to get early looks at events around town, the chance to shout out your favorite local nonprofits and businesses on the show, and invitations to members-only experiences like volunteering with us at Radnor Lake this month. Go ahead and join CityCast Nashville Neighbors today at membership.citycast.fm. That's membership.citycast.fm. Today on CityCast Nashville, it's time for our Friday News Roundup. I'm joined by our executive producer, Whitney Pasterek, and CityCast Nashville contributor, Nicole Williams. We're digging into this week's uptick in ICE presence in Nashville, how Metro Council is responding publicly to Elon Musk's tunnel plans, how Andy Ogles is scaring us, and wow, y'all went crazy for In-N-Out's big opening. It's Friday, December 12th. I'm your host, Marie Cecile Anderson, and this is what Nashville's talking about. Whitney, Nicole, can I get real with y'all?
Yes, always.
Yes, please.
Safe space.
So this week I had a trying time with my neighbors. One dog just kept barking through my thin walls all day long. As a podcaster, I was very concerned. And then also somebody parked in my parking spot and yelled at me. So I'm saying this because sometimes neighbors aren't friendly neighbors. And this week, as everybody knows, we are in our membership drive and we're asking friends to join CityCast Nashville Neighbors so we can all come together as a community.
Marie, are you suggesting that CityCast Nashville Neighbors won't yell at you?
That's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping that we can all get together, find community, find friendship. So if you feel my frustration, join us at membership.citycast.fm.
Listen, I know it's been a long week of all of this, everybody, and we really appreciate you hanging in there with us, but it does really matter to us. On behalf of all of us here at CityCast Nashville, we love doing this work. We love our jobs. Making this show is an absolute pleasure. We love telling stories about the city. We love doing deep dives into the issues that matter to you. And we love these news roundups where we're able to bring you everything that happened this week, hopefully in a way that you enjoy. And I know you're getting a lot of hits for Can You Give Us Money Right Now? And some from places that do far more important work than we do. But your support is important to us. So if you do happen to have $10 a month or $100 a year, either for yourself or as a gift you want to give to somebody else, we really hope that you'll go to membership.citycast.fm and join us today.
I would like to say, I know y'all love hearing me. The numbers don't lie. Y'all love hearing me yap, 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 yap. The only way that I get to continue yapping is if you support CityCast.
I feel like we should be playing the ASPCA like Sarah McLachlan.
Yes.
In the arms
For just $1 a day, you can save a terminally online young woman for having no one to yap to.
Oh my gosh, it's only $10 a month, $100 a year, folks. Join today. Support Nicole, support our show, and let's support our neighbors at membership.citycast.fm. On with the show. We want to start by letting everyone know that there has been an uptick in ICE presence across our community. On Wednesday, the Nashville Banner spoke to Ashley Warbington, an advocate and volunteer for Music City Migrant Watch, who, full disclosure, is a close friend of mine. And she described an unusually active day for ICE watchers. Their first ICE sighting was Wednesday morning in a parking lot near Sip Cafe in Inglewood, where employees witnessed a white work van stopped by armed men who then handcuffed the driver and took him away. The armed men, the employees said, were not wearing uniforms or badges indicating that they were with a government agency. On social media, word spread that the unidentified men were from ICE.
The Spanish language news outlet Nashville Noticias, who they are amazing, y'all, and you really should follow them on Facebook. They reported on Wednesday evening that at least 8 people had been taken into custody by ICE agents in various locations, citing relatives of the people who'd been detained. We know that these ICE detentions have been happening and certainly been impacting families all across our area. but it does feel like they are ramping up and that they're coming closer into the center of town. I really want to shout out the work of the elected officials who represent Inglewood and making sure to get real information out to the neighborhood on Wednesday. Emily Benedict, the council member, was all over social media. Senator Heidi Campbell and school board member Zach Young, who also represents the schools in that area. Sip Cafe also shared a photo of one of the ICE vehicles on their Instagram saying, quote, "We are horrified that something this vile happened outside SIP. We urge all of our friends to be careful." When contacted by the banner, the Tennessee Highway Patrol said that they were not aware of such activity, and MNPD said their officers were not involved. ICE officials naturally could not be reached for comment. So, Marie, you're good friends with Ashley, as you mentioned. If people are feeling scared and powerless right now, what can they do?
First thing you have to do is get on Instagram and follow at Music City Migra Watch. They're constantly verifying ICE agents in town. If you see any ICE activity in your neighborhood and don't know what to do, Music City Migra Watch is offering a community training session this Sunday, December 14th, 1 o'clock to 3 o'clock. They're going to have 2 different types of training, one for monitoring ICE activity and the second for court accompaniment, for people to go to court with people. They're calling on the community to show up and really learn how to do this without getting in the way of law enforcement. If you do see ICE activity, you can call their hotline, 615-933-8409. You can text, you can call.
We have lots of friends who are spending time right now doing this.
Yeah.
I heard from one of them who said that something that is desperately needed is more people who speak conversational Spanish. For example, in the case of that court accompaniment, they'll be really grateful for your help. What else have you heard, Nicole?
We're not safer. I mean, I'm not hearing from anyone that they feel safer as a result of this. In fact, I'm hearing from a lot of folks that they feel less safe. So like this random slipshod approach to immigration enforcement is resulting in civil rights abuses, American citizens being detained, people who are lawfully in the United States being detained. We were told by the federal government that this was going to be focused on the worst of the worst criminals. And we've seen that that has not at all been the case.
Yeah, it's not my experience that the worst of the worst criminals hang out at the neighborhood coffee shop.
No, Sip Cafe is lovely. It's like down the street from me. And I don't feel any safer today knowing that someone was ripped out of their work van and disappeared.
Right. And I do want to also emphasize that while this is impacting the Latino and Hispanic communities here in Nashville, perhaps most broadly, they're not the only neighbors of ours that are under threat right now. We've seen an uptick in rhetoric against the Somali community in Minnesota. And of course, we have tons of Somali refugees here in Nashville. We also know that refugees from Afghanistan are at risk.
And we have a huge Kurdish population in Nashville. So I'm really nervous, particularly after seeing what has happened in Minnesota.
And you know what scares me the most is complacency with people who this doesn't terrify them.
I mean, we see all those videos on social media of neighborhoods in Chicago where people were coming out of their homes in their pajamas to chase away
Charlotte,
ICE.
North Carolina showed up.
We've not yet seen that level of activity from ICE here in Nashville outside of that first week.
I think another big difference between like here in Chicago is in Illinois, and their state government is very protective of the rights of all of their residents. We are obviously not seeing that in Nashville, in Tennessee, and we're not going to. And so I think while I would love to see more people be involved, I understand the fear of what if I do the wrong thing?
Well, one last tip, and obviously we're not encouraging anyone to do anything outside of their comfort zone. And we know that there also are people who listen to this podcast who are probably in favor of these detentions and disappearances. But our state legislature did pass a 25-foot boundary law last year during session. So if you do decide to get out and film, please do it from 25 feet away.
I don't know how you judge that, but
bring a tape measure with your whistle.
Bring them.
Anyway, well, and then I can't believe we have to do this again, but what time is it?
tunnel time.
The Tennessean reported that Metro Council may actually be able to take an official position on the Boring Company's Music City Loop next week at their final meeting of the year. At-large Councilmember Delicia Porterfield filed a resolution voicing opposition to the project. And if approved as written, this would be the first time since the project was announced back in July that the council as a group would voice this type of explicit opposition.
Porterfield's resolution says that opposition is due to, quote, unresolved concerns regarding safety, labor practices, transparency, environmental impact, geological risk, and lack of meaningful engagement with Nashville residents and their duly elected representatives. That sounded like the disclaimer on a pharmaceutical ad. Digging a hole in Nashville may result in. Anyway, the resolution also requests a formal public briefing in front of the council and the release of all environmental, geological, safety, and fiscal studies for independent review. It is just a resolution. Yeah. Nicole, is it binding?
It is not binding. And one thing I actually really appreciated that Councilmember Porterfield did is that she posted about this on social media and she clarified that the resolution, if passed, will not and cannot stop the tunnel. Council doesn't have the power to do that because all of these activities are taking place on or under state-owned properties and state roads. So Council cannot, as a body, dictate what happens on state property. I am generally not a fan of performative, like we're taking a stand resolutions, but I understand the reason for this. I understand that council members have heard an outpouring of concern from their constituents, and this is the only thing that they can do. But I really appreciated that Councilmember Porterfield was incredibly clear that the council cannot stop this, but they can register their discontent formally and as a group.
We love formal discontent. Now is the winter of our formal discontent, made glorious summer by this queen of Nashville.
Whitney, this week we saw some yard signs here in Nashville that said, what? What did you see?
Yes, I was driving to the dog park down 14th Street in East Nashville, and lining the entire stretch, I saw yard signs that said bigdumbhole.com. There's a blue circle with the words Big Dumb Hole in it, and then in one of those red Ghostbusters crosses, bigdumbhole.com, folks. And when you go to the website, those signs are encouraging Nashvillians to attend the next Metro Council meeting on December 16th to voice your unhappiness and help build resistance to the proposed Tesla tunnel. They've got a mailing list sign up, and I'm sure you can also get a sign of your own. I noticed that one of my neighbors now has one, and I love that for her. Now, of course, you may be in favor of the Tesla tunnel. You may think that Tesla is driving bumper to bumper in a one-way tunnel at 60 miles an hour all day, every day, perpetually is a great idea. And if you do, I encourage you to make your own yard signs. Big yay hole.
Or
Big
go to the council meeting.
Or yes, or also, you're right, Nicole, or also go to the council meeting. I don't know. We're keeping an open hole about this. And
that sounds like something different.
Sorry. But yeah, really, it made me laugh very hard to see those signs. So whoever did that, good on you.
This episode is sponsored by Babbel. The idea of learning a new language can be scary. I felt overwhelmed by that. I bet you have too. I'm CityCast CEO David Plotz, and studies show that up to 90% of people trying to learn a new language give up. 90%. Fortunately, Babbel's built so it's really easy to get started and really easy to stick with it. They understand that people learn differently. So maybe you can dive into a podcast on Babbel when you don't feel like a quick lesson, or you can speak out loud to get practice in, or you can explore courses based on specific topics and even create your own customized review lists, all within the Babbel app. Babbel has made learning a language all about small steps with real wins and progress you can actually track and feel. Bite-sized lessons that fit easily into your daily routine and are also easy to remember. Just 10 minutes a day is enough to start seeing real results. I've been learning Spanish with Babbel, and it's helped when I've traveled in Mexico, and it helps me eavesdrop on my son and my girlfriend when they speak Spanish to try to fool me. No más, mi corazón. However you learn best, by listening, speaking, reading, or writing, Babbel adapts to your style and keeps you motivated with personalized learning plans, real-time feedback, and progress tracking. And right now, here's a special limited time deal for CityCast listeners. Right now, get up to 55% off your Babbel subscription at babbel.com/citycast. Get up to 55% off at babbel.com/citycast. Spelled BABBEL.com/citycast. Rules and restrictions may apply.
Nashville's network of housing and homelessness support organizations is facing deep uncertainty due to sudden shifts in federal funding. WPLN reported that the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development abruptly moved to cut funding for permanent housing programs last month. These programs have historically served nearly 1,000 vulnerable Nashville residents, including families, victims of violence, and those transitioning out of homelessness. In response, a group of cities and nonprofits, including Metro Nashville, filed a lawsuit against the Department of Housing and Urban Development, citing their actions as unlawful and chaotic. This week, HUD rescinded any immediate changes ahead of a court hearing, but this still leaves many of our essential housing services in limbo.
Also this week, the Nashville Banner's Mikey Ryland reported a really, really stunning piece about evictions in Nashville. She follows a single family through their cycles of housing and evictions over the course of the last 7 years, and then delves deeper into how the system works in our courts. We're going to put a link to this piece in our show notes because it really was so beautifully written, and it shows the complete picture. It sort of looks at the whole ecosystem where since the pandemic, about 1,200 evictions per month have been filed in Middle Tennessee. And almost half have resulted in default judgments because people didn't show up.
I think what's frustrating about this cycle is that in order to have a chance at not being evicted, you have to show up to court. You don't know when your case is going to be heard. That means you can't go to work that day. And most likely, you don't have legal representation and you don't know how to navigate the system. So when you get there, it's essentially a coin toss whether you get any kind of relief. But we do have a program called the Eviction Right to Counsel program that was piloted during the height of COVID using federal COVID relief dollars. And Councilmember at Large Zulfat Swara is looking to codify that and make it a more permanent piece of Nashville's infrastructure.
And how this program works is that it's basically a folding table in the hallway of General Sessions Court where different volunteers or staffers from nonprofits, legal aid, they kind of hang out. And they can provide information. Even in some cases, they're able to provide pro bono legal services and help with rent payments. So people who have somehow managed to take the day off work and they show up in this hallway, and at least in some cases, there is like a ask us how we can help information table sitting there, which I love. Is it enough?
Certainly not enough, not as it currently exists. I mean, in the story, it was reported that they can only handle about a month's worth of eviction cases in an entire year. Wow. So 1,000 to 1,500 cases in an entire year. There are apparently only 8 attorneys in the city that do pro bono legal work for eviction cases. And we know that the deck is stacked against tenants in Tennessee due to state law that really protect landlords' rights much more than they protect tenants' rights. But this program has an incredible return on investment. For every dollar that Nashville invests in the program, there's like a $2 to $5 return on money that is saved essentially by preventing folks from having to enter the homelessness response system. You're saving money, not having to provide additional shelter beds, not having to provide additional case management to get people in permanent housing, which, you know, if the federal government keeps going in the direction they're going, Nashville may have to pony up even more money for that in order to just keep at current levels of services. So I think I read that funding the program fully would be about $9.3 million a year.
That's like 100 feet of sidewalk.
Yeah. But we have a more than $3 billion budget in Nashville. I'm hoping that we find a way to more permanently fund this program.
The article also says that some advocates believe Nashville is on the verge of becoming like Aspen, Colorado, but year-round. We know this. We've talked about it a lot. Our city is driven by tourism, but the people who make things run can't afford to live here. Legal Aid also believes the poverty line in Nashville is shifting, and the Nashville Hispanic Bar Association says the city is on track for more eviction filings than it's seen since the pandemic. It's hard not to see these two stories, the HUD funding cancellation and our rising eviction rates, as connected. Nicole, let's play our favorite game. If we could wave a magic wand and change something about all of this, what would it be?
I would change state law. There's zero protection in Tennessee. If you don't pay your rent, your landlord can evict you the next day.
Right.
There's no 30-day waiting period. There's no notice required. Things like this would give people at least a little breathing room so that we don't have so many cases churning through the courts, that we could prevent these things before they even get to being in the hallway at the courthouse needing help.
Marie actually did a great interview earlier this year with Elizabeth Leiserson from Legal Aid of Middle Tennessee and the Cumberlands, and she shared so much practical advice specifically about just what you're talking about, Nicole, that, you can be out that day, but there are ways to mitigate that. There are opportunities to talk to your landlord, that you do have some teeny tiny rights in the midst of a state where basically the deck is stacked against you. If I could change one thing, I would make sure everybody had a house to live in. Yay! Housing is a human right.
Okay, you're thinking bigger than me.
I was. Yes, it's Christmas time. And speaking of Christmas, we poke fun at our good friend Congressman Andy Ogles a lot on this show. That scamp, he's always up to something. But this week, he may have found a new low. In response to the arrest of a legal permanent resident in the very awful and tragic murder of a woman back in August, Ogles lashed out this week for some reason about the fact that the man wasn't in prison at the time of the murder, and he had a lengthy criminal record. On December 5th, Ogles posted, quote, "Every judge and prosecutor who let him off the hook was a Democrat. As long as local liberals are running things in Middle Tennessee, we are at war. The state should impeach all of the judges, send the guard to Nashville." He also posted several pictures of judges who had previously ruled on that individual's cases. In response, Metro Nashville Court Administrator Kyle Sewell and 11 Nashville General Sessions judges sent letters to Governor Bill Lee asking for heightened security for court employees and the public, saying that our foremost responsibility is to ensure that courthouse employees and every member of the public entering the Birch Building are safe. The use of "we are at war" is some scary shit.
And of course, he's doubled down on a statement, once again attacking Mayor O'Connell, and then taking things even a step further by posting a video of Councilmember at-large Delicia Porterfield on Twitter with the caption, "Tennessee is under attack from these leftist migrant lovers. They are lawless, and the National Guard must be called in to clean up their mess."
I mean, I just quoted Richard III to celebrate Councilmember at-large Delicia Porterfield, and he's going to attack her?
Yeah. So he also doubled down on the initial post about the judges, saying if the judges were so concerned about security, they should support his calls to deploy the National Guard in Nashville.
Right.
So what's wild to me about that is that Ogles essentially manufactures a security issue by saying we're at war, posting judges' faces, all of this out of control rhetoric. Then when the judges, understandably and very formally and calmly, ask for additional protection, he uses that to further bolster his calls for his preferred policy solution, which is to deploy the National Guard in Nashville.
Judges are asking for safety for the people who are in court, many of whom we were just talking about in that last segment.
Yes, he's going to get someone killed if he hasn't already. Mm-hmm. And I can't imagine how terrifying it must be to be a public figure in Nashville right now who is not towing the Andy Ogles line, because every day is a new day that you could be attacked, have your face plastered all over Twitter. We know council members and judges and other officials get death threats constantly. So again, I don't know how this makes our city safer.
Safer for whom, Nicole? Safer for whom? Damn it, Andy, it is Christmas time. Have you read the Bible?
Right.
What is Jesus? He was an immigrant.
He's just mean. And can we just stop being mean for like a minute around the holidays?
Well, in honor of Taylor Swift's birthday this Saturday, December 13th, I'm going to quote Tay-Tay, "Why you gotta be so mean?" How about spreading some holiday cheer with Aura Frames? It's the perfect gift to celebrate your family. Growing up here in Nashville, we always took a family photo on Christmas morning in our matching flannel pajamas. But now that we're older and living in different cities, it's much harder to find time to be in the same room together. But thanks to Aura Frames, I've been able to upload all those old photos straight from my phone into the Aura app. And now my family gets to relive those memories together. And the best part, we can all keep adding photos from anywhere, anytime. It's truly the easiest, most meaningful gift I've ever given. For a limited time, save on the perfect gift by visiting auraframes.com to get $35 off Aura's best-selling Carver Mat frames, named #1 by Wirecutter, by using promo code CityCast at checkout. That's auraframes.com, promo code CityCast. This deal is exclusive to listeners and frames sell out fast, so order yours now to get it in time for the holidays. Support the show by mentioning us at checkout. Terms and conditions apply.
Dun dun.
Good news.
The biggest good news of the week, depending on how you feel about hamburgers, was the long-awaited opening of 3 In-N-Out locations in Lebanon, Antioch, and Murfreesboro. That's right, folks. The California burger chain recently opened an Eastern Territory office in Franklin with the CEO, Lindsay Snyder, who inherited the company from her parents, also moving her family here. All right, Lindsay. Our producer, of course, Daniel Semstein, a California native, would like you all to know that In-N-Out burgers are awesome. And plenty of our neighbors certainly agreed. Did you guys get on social media and watch people going and waiting in line for 3 hours to get these?
I posted on Blue Sky that they looked like COVID vaccine parking lots.
They did.
It was just hundreds of cars in lines demarcated by cones waiting to go get their special treat.
I'm so excited. I love their hamburgers, and their French fries are okay, but their milkshakes are equally amazing. So I'm going to go.
Would you wait 3 hours?
No, I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait 3 months and then go.
I think it's very interesting that this also is happening in the exact same week that the last out-of-state fast food chain that made a big splash here locally, Whataburger, ended up closing 4 local locations. I think we can all remember the lines stretching out from Whataburger, which as a Texan, I guess I would respond to Daniel by saying Whataburger is more awesome. But I think something that we're discovering is that these out-of-state chains that pop up maybe aren't living up to the hype. I've heard nothing but comments about Whataburger saying they're mid. Whataburger's mid. I mean, there was nothing better when I was in high school and I had been, let's just say, partying at someone whose parents were out of town's house for us to then all go to Whataburger after hours and get taquitos. Whataburger's not mid, but it might have been mid in Tennessee. Will that same fate befall In-N-Out in Tennessee?
Who knows? Folks, though, we want to hear from you. If you have eaten at the Nashville In-N-Out locations, drop us an email. Let us know. Does it live up to the hype? Send us your thoughts at nashville@citycast.fm.
One last thing I want to note. I love this story. In-N-Out has also eliminated the number 67 from their order numbers. You can no longer be order number 67 because they are frightened of children with hand gestures.
6-7. Wish you could see me. Okay. Well,
Nicole, your face. Say what you're thinking, Nicole.
I just don't get it. I don't get any of it. I don't understand. I mean, we have plenty of great burger places in Nashville.
Well, I have to say, my most exciting news of the week is that we received an Instagram reel. Emily from Robert's Western World. She's the wife of Jesse Lee Jones, owner of Robert's Western World. She gave us an update on their construction. We all know that they purchased Jack's Barbecue right next door, and we're like, what's going to happen to Robert's? Well, on Instagram, she told us they're going to start construction. They're not going to stop service during the holidays. They're going to keep their bands, their employees working through the holidays along with construction. So they're expanding the dance floor. They're going to break down the front wall. The bar is now going to wrap around. And yeah, they're just going to try to keep the 150-year-old brick wall intact
From
best of
falling
their
down?
ability.
Oh, man.
But the main thing that I gathered is that how cool they're going to stay open through the holidays.
Well,
So
it's
I'm
very
here
exciting,
for it.
Marie. I know how happy you are. We're going to have an episode next week where Marie is celebrating Roberts and all of her favorite neighborhood bars with her good friend Emily Fleming. So stay tuned to that. Before we get into events, I want to just do one quick vibe check. Nicole, Marie, how are you guys feeling?
I will say I'm not a huge fan of the holidays, with the days being so short, the sun setting so early. I start to reflect on all that I have not accomplished over the year. So I've been a little anxious, and because of this, I don't like to draw attention to the holidays. So I don't like Christmas music. I'm not a big fan of Christmas decorations. This has not been a thing that my household has ever embraced. However, Elizabeth, my partner, has worn me down. We got a Christmas tree.
Yay! Welcome.
And I'm here to say it makes me really happy. Like, as soon as it gets dark outside, I turn the little lights on and I just sit there and it just makes me smile. So whatever holiday you're celebrating this holiday season, even if the holidays have not been a great time for you in the past, there's something about twinkling lights that just make everything a little more bearable.
I think that's completely true. And if you're
Yes.
feeling the
Yep.
stress and the anxiety and you need some twinkling lights in your life, it's a big weekend for twinkling lights. Tomorrow should be a gorgeous wintry day before there's a terrible cold snap on Sunday. Protect your pipes. So you need to get out there and enjoy it. And here are some options. There are Christmas parades in Gallatin and Leapers Fork. Franklin, Bell Buckle, and Pegram are all having Christmas festivals. You can find info about all of these events and more on our website, nashville.citycast.fm. And on Monday, the mayor is hosting Nashville's annual menorah lighting in Public Square Park because on Sunday, Hanukkah begins. That's the beginning of the Festival of Lights, a whole festival of lights. And so I hope things start to get a little bit brighter for everybody. Nicole, I'm so glad to hear that that's worked for you. Marie, what else can people do this weekend?
Well, I'm going to see Nate Bargatze at Bridgestone Arena. Gonna go get my
that guy.
comedy on, if you've heard of him. Maybe getting
Are you going to get him to come on the damn show or what?
I am going to stay there and find him only for CityCast Nashville. That's the kind of reporting you get when you join CityCast Nashville Neighbors.
Marie is willing to get a court-ordered restraining
That's
order.
right. Because we got to get Nate on. Nate, hey, if you're listening, come on CityCast Nashville. Also, Leanne Rimes is performing at the Ryman tonight.
Yes.
Taco Week is still happening. How cool is that, y'all? We had a pleasure always interviewing Chris Chamberlain about the hot tacos all week long. You have until Sunday to get your taco on and vote and win some really cool stuff with the Nashville scene.
Has anybody tried any of the tacos?
Nope. As soon as we press stop, I'm going to go get some tacos after this.
Catching up on taco time.
Taco time.
Forget tunnel time. I'm ready for taco time. Well, and then finally, speaking
Yes.
of lights, once again, if you have been wanting to go see holiday lights at Cheekwood, but you can't afford the price tag because it really isn't all that affordable, folks, they are looking for volunteers. Every evening from now through Christmas, you can be down there in the midst of all of that joy and sparkly splendor. Go to Hands on Nashville to sign up and be a part of spreading some cheer to your neighbors while also taking in the joy for yourselves. I think that would be a very fun thing to do this weekend or at any time between now and the holiday. Marie, should we wrap up by thanking our newest CityCast Nashville neighbors?
Yes, it's my favorite part of the job. Sean W. and Bailey W., welcome to the neighborhood. Thank you all so much for joining and supporting our show. We are so excited to see you at Radnor Lake State Park for our exclusive preview of their new expansion where we're going to be volunteering to get it cleaned up for the spring.
You know, Marie, another great benefit of CityCast Nashville Neighbors membership is that you get the chance to send us neighborhood shout outs, celebrating a business or nonprofit that you love here in Music City. Derek H. wrote in this week to shout out Mirror Mirror, which is an extremely badass event space and vintage shop out in Donaldson. Derek says, quote, Mirror Mirror Network is the bomb oasis in Donaldson. Check out their electric chapel if you're looking to get married or their music venue for killer other shows. And he did send that in all caps. So you know he means it.
Everybody out there, take Derek's advice. And while our year-end membership drive is coming to a close this weekend, it is not too late to join now and take advantage of our special giveaway, a very warm beanie that says CityCast Nashville on it.
And that's it. No more membership. We're done. We're done.
We're done. I just have to mention it very shortly on Monday.
Okay. Sorry. No, I lied. Also, one more time on Monday. But anyway, you won't have to hear it after this. So do it. And then we can stop telling you to do it.
Nicole, as always, it's so wonderful having you here. I'm glad that you are enjoying your twinkly little lights. Happy holidays.
Yeah, thanks as always.
Yay.
And this is our last Friday News Roundup with Nicole for the year of our Lord 2025. And I just want to thank her for, she's sitting right here. Nicole, I just want to thank you for all of the perspective and wisdom and information that you've brought to the show and to our listeners all year long. We really are so lucky to have you as a CityCast Nashville contributor. And we can't wait to talk to you in the new year.
I love being on this show. And again, y'all love hearing me on this show. And so what can you do? If you want to keep hearing me on this show, become a CityCast Nashville neighbor.
Oh, that's the best holiday gift you could have given us. All right, everybody have a great weekend. Take care of each other. And hey, happy Hanukkah, everybody.
That's all for today here on CityCast Nashville. And don't forget, you can support this show and get great perks by becoming a CityCast Nashville neighbor at membership.citycast.fm. I'm your host, Marie Cecile Anderson. Our executive producer is Whitney Pasternak. Our producer is Daniel Sumstein. Our Hey Nashville newsletter editor is Margaret Kingsbury, with additional support this week from Natalia Aldana. Our theme music is by Prof. Jenkins, with additional music by James and Arturam Krasnobayev from Triple Scoop Music via Getty Images and Hip Color, courtesy of Epidemic Sound. If you enjoyed the show, why not tell your friends, rate the show, leave us a review, and subscribe to our Hey Nashville newsletter. We'll be back Monday morning with more news from around the city. Toodles!